So let's talk about short-term renting consultations. Let's pretend that you're looking to do a short-term rental property. You want to get into short-term rental. Once again, as we all know, short-term rental does refer to Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, Expedia, all these places. So people like to say, I want to get an Airbnb property, but what they're technically saying is I want to get a property zone for short-term renting. Zoning is going to play a part. I'm in Central Florida. I'm close to Disney World. So in our area, I already know most of the communities that are zoned for short-term. So the first thing you want to ask, by the way, I'm a licensed realtor as well, so I have to know this information, right? So the first thing you want to ask is, what area, if you're going to buy a property, is it zoned for short-term renting? If it is zoned for short-term renting, there are different zoning, right? Some, like the community I'm in right now, you can only rent for 30 days or less. You cannot rent in this community for more than 30 days to anyone, right? So that's something you want to know. There are other communities where you could rent to 3 months or less, right? Up to 3 months or less. And there are other communities you could rent 6 months or less. And then there are other communities you could just rent whenever you want, for a day, 2 days, 3 days. Some community will have a minimum of you have to rent for at least 7 days. Some community will have a minimum of you have to rent for at least 14 days to any one person. So these are something you need to pay attention to when it comes to short-term renting. That is going to be the number one goal for getting into the short-term rental business. You must know what it's zoned for. You don't want to buy a property or rent a property and get it all furnished and all this great stuff just to find out, oops, you can't do it. Or your guest wants to rent for 2 days and they're like, well, it's a 7-day minimum, right? And you don't want to play those games because neighbors do watch. People watch, neighbors watch, owners watch. If they can't do it, why should you do it? So you just want to make sure you're in the up and up from Jump Street. So location is going to be key. You also need to figure out, if I'm doing short-term renting, who am I trying to attract? What is my avatar, right? Your avatar could be, okay, maybe I want to attract people going to Disney World. What's going on in your area? Maybe you're close to a stadium, so I want to attract people who are coming in to go to any event at the stadium. Maybe you're next to a park, so you want to attract people who are coming in to do whatever events they do at that park. So your area is going to be important, and you need to find out what you're attracting. Do you want to attract just people who just are looking for short-term renting? Could be that they have been dislocated, maybe their home got damaged and the insurance company wants to put them somewhere. Maybe you want to do Furnish Finder, where this is a company that works with nurses and doctors that as they move around different locations. Maybe you want to do executive housing for executives that as their company move them around, they find them short-term renting. Maybe you want to do a combination of all of this. And what I do is I do a combination of all of it, right? And my short-term rental properties, I want to attract everybody and anyone. Anyone looking to rent short-term, I want them. So I want to be in an area that is that way. But that doesn't mean that's a hard and fast rule. You could be in a community where people don't normally rent for more than a week. Maybe they rent for a few days. Maybe you're in a community where people do short-term rental for a month or less. So all this is very, very important. And I don't want to bore you with all that great stuff, but that's super important. You need to know your zoning, how long you could rent for or how little you could rent for. Are there any renting restrictions? Super important. Once you do that, you want to know the seasonality of your area. When is it busy? When is it slow? Because if you don't know that and you start doing your short-term renting and it's slow, you're going to get discouraged. So you need to know what is the seasonality. What season is busy? What season is slow? How many months of the year can I expect to rent this property for? There's a website called AirDNA, which is a very good website because you could plug an address in there and it will tell you the rentability as they project. It's not always accurate, but it's very conservative. So if it's telling you one thing and you go by that one thing, you'll definitely be successful. That's going to be important. So that's another thing. The next thing is that you're going to have to furnish the home. So you want to have sturdy furniture. You want to make sure each bedroom have at least a 32-inch smart TV because smart is everything. You want to decide if you want to create a game room, and this is going to be based on what you're trying to attract. Like for instance, here in the Disney World area, we attract a lot of people going to the park, so we need to have a game room, right? Because the kids are coming and the parents want to entertain them while they're here. In the Disney World area or any other area in Florida, you want to have a pool or you want to be next to the beach. Those are what's going to attract people to come to your location, right? If you're looking for that. So you got to make sure of that. If you're looking to say do Furnish Finder, where you're dealing with most of the nurses and doctors, they want to have a more fully functional home. So you're going to want a home that offers an office space, No matter what you're doing, you have to have a fully stocked kitchen, and you want to have items that not everybody else is going to have, like a Keurig machine, a coffee machine, a slow cooker, maybe a hair fryer. You know, those are some of the items that will give you a little tick for your short-term renting. You also got to decide, how do you want to welcome your guests? Do you want to have a nice welcome basket? Do you want to give them some snacks, water, wine, coffee? All that's gonna have to be considered, and you got to project that into your profit margin. And you also want to figure out, you want to have a smart home, which I would suggest you do. I suggest you have a smart home with a smart lock, so you're able to just assign different codes to different people as they come in and out based upon who you're renting to. You also want to have control over your thermostat, guys, no matter where you live. So you want to be able to lock the thermostat into a certain number, and they can't move it too up or too down. That's going to be super important. And you want to at least have a ring doorbell at the front door to make sure you know who is coming and who is going out. You cannot have videos inside the property. You cannot. So don't even think of it. If you're going to do it, don't do short-term renting at all, okay? So you can't have videos inside, you could have videos outside. You also have to decide, based upon your avatar or who you're trying to attract, if you want to have a community with a lot of amenities like a pool, water park, on-site restaurant, gym, game arcade, all that great stuff. Or do you want to have a self-contained home and have like a room that you offer like arcade games, you know, maybe 2 gym machines, something like that. So those are a lot of things to consider. We do offer short-term rental consultations or Airbnb consultations. Feel free to call or text us at any time. There should be a number up here down below in the video, 407-791-4713. You could call or text us. You could make an appointment for a consultation. We'll go over all this with you. But these are some of the main things. And the main thing I'm going to do is tell you, location is important. The quality of the furniture you use is going to be very important. How you furnish it will be important. How you stock your kitchen will be important. And you want to make sure you have a nice, clean place. So as you start short-term renting, you're going to need to do what we call maintenance. And a lot of our owners don't tend to realize that maintenance is a big deal. Wear and tear is going to happen on the property. So when you're thinking about all the stuff you're thinking about, make sure you're also thinking about, okay, wear and tear. What's going to happen if there's scuff marks on the wall? What's going to happen if they break a glass? All this great stuff must be a part of what you're doing. So once again, my name is Sandy. I'm a licensed realtor and lender here in Central Florida area, and an Airbnb consultant and short-term renting consultant. If you have any questions, give us a call, send us a text, 407-791-4713. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you on the next video.